Okay. So, while we were off screen, I'm actually going to listen to what I was. I forgot that I have to take it down off of the... I was going to listen to, actually, I meant...
I was so taken aback. I remember I was still in my room, kind of freaking out. It was just me. I remember I had told my girlfriend I had to get off.
Alright. Hold on just 1 second. Okay. I'm gonna turn it down though. I don't know how well you guys will be able to hear it. I can hear it, so. And that's kind of what I'm after, is me being able to hear. Oh crap, I forgot to put Twitch back up. Oh jeez, I am a mess. Okay. I also forgot to use that door. It's been a long day. Okay. So, off camera, I aged up Arceli and decorated her room. She went to the planetarium and got obsessed with space. Like, it's her entire personality. It's just space. Okay. And that's about it, storyline wise, that I did off. Off stream. I can't really do anything with her ambitions or anything like that yet. But I think when she wakes up, let's see, what is today? It's Sunday. I do think that I'm gonna have her make some friends at school. And she's still sad from Suck dying. Okay, and now... Let's see, I think there's a park around here somewhere. Why don't you come and introduce yourself to these friendly friends? Hey? Oh, just one friendly friend. Okay. Come and introduce yourself. He seems to be running away. Don't run away. You little bastard. I guess it was getting dark. Okay, there's not much I can really do for the next little bit with her. And you, my beautiful princess, put this away. But I am done mostly with these two and their story. Can you also clean this up? I might fuck around with them a little bit more, but like, I gave them a happy life, so... I turned what was Suck's room into a bathroom. And I just gave her, like, more of a spacey room than what she had. So, yeah. I wish I would hurry. Oops. Oh.
Sorry, that sounds completely unbelievable, but it's apparently true. I only ever had one unexplained occurrence happen to me in my life.
No, that's for a little
And
bit.
it happened right after my father's father, my grandfather, passed away. Alright, so one night
I want to be a ninja when I grow up. What do I need to do now to start getting ready for being a ninja when I'm all grown up? Find a ninja to train you. So whenever I'm like lagging in a conversation because talking to yourself really isn't as easy as some people make it out. Look, we're gonna listen to shit like this while
just
we're...
noises, and I'm like, hello? Nothing. Oh, hi, love. So yeah, I'm like, hello?
She goes to school, she
I
went to
come
school.
over here and I look down there. Our dog at the time
So,
had a big couch right there.
I want
look down,
you
and he's passed out. He's sleeping.
to
So I'm
make
like,
friends.
alright, he doesn't hear anything. There's probably nothing. Like, I'm gonna trust him on this. So I go back.
Suck my butt.
Go back to my little snacky snack over here.
Okay. You're supposed to be good. You cannot call me from the afterlife.
And this is what I saw.
Nico's off to work.
So I see this dark shadow.
That's creepy. I've seen the same thing before.
I'm like, hello? Who the hell's fucking with me in the middle of the night when I'm trying to get
I
some
think I want to add more plants to this.
all of a sudden,
They need to be craftier.
I come over and I look. Our Great Dane that was down here is no longer sleeping. He is standing up, hackles raised, growling at the exact spot where I thought I saw a shadow. I still can't explain it. I'm not saying it's a ghost, but nobody would fuck with me like that. And it never happened before nor since. So I don't know. That sounds completely unbelievable, but it's hilarious. First, what I was seeing.
Okay, so first off, I tried stitching the original video, but it's not working. Audio's all jacked up. Secondly, I make a separate TikTok account because I have a semi-professional one where I talk finance. I don't really need my clients.
Looks like she knows who
Sometimes
friends.
I go to schools and stuff. Even though that's technically, I love that stuff. I got like school stepped in on me and stuff. I love not necessarily leaving the stuff, but I like spooky stuff. But so anyways, what I'm talking about is there's one instance in particular that
So just sign it in.
can't explain both what happened and after the fact. So a couple of years ago in Washington, Washington, that's Pacific Northwest. You know now, it's over there. So anyways, this guy bought a piece of property and
I'm gonna
turned
have
this
Ren
property into a Jurassic
go
Park themed
and-
Airbnb. You may have seen something on the news or TikTok or
Oh,
whatever.
we
but,
can
get
afford
like a giant
our
T-Rex,
bills.
Soares, velociraptors outside of the hot tub. It was awesome. My buddies and I
Ren,
were like
can
dinosaurs. You know,
you
when you're like 4 years old, you get to pick your personality. It's like
throw that to an art gallery?
or whatever. We're all dinosaur people. So I booked this place like months and months in advance, thinking like everybody's gonna want to stay here. Apparently it wasn't that popular, but so we went
How
and
okay it is.
stuff 2022, and you know I've been to a lot of like weird places. And again, I don't really necessarily believe in this stuff, but I do like the unexplainable kind of creepy stuff. But so anyway, as soon as we walked into this house, sense picks up like, oh, so he's there. That was the feeling I had the whole time. I'm down there by myself, and it was that feeling of, oh, are they here already? No, they're not. I'm down here by myself, dating some serious later. So felt that way. Nothing bad or negative. It just felt like I wasn't by myself down there. But then
Okay.
the really weird part.
Oh, she's a good kid. She's doing all her homework.
Teenage girls sleepover, except we're a bunch of kids in our 30s. So we brought, Ouija board and dowsing rods because we just wanted to. About half the group is into the kind of creepy stuff. Half the group hates it, believes in it, and they all kind of ran and wanted nothing to do with it. So, anyways, we're playing with.
Is that just her tattoos, or is she?
Which I've played with this before, and again, I think it's just a toy. It's just whatever, but.
We have a really good child. Things are doing her homework.
We were getting really clear answers, and ultimately, we were talking to something for a long time with both devices, both toys, I should say. And ultimately, out of the answers that we were getting from this ghost or whatever, we ultimately found out that it was a little boy, passed away in the 40s. And that he was 8 years old, and he was hit by a car. I mean, we were literally spelled out C-A-R when we asked how did he pass away. So it was like real clear answers. Everybody was kind of freaked out. I was excited. It's like, ooh, But again, half the group, they're upstairs with blankets over their head because they didn't want to mess with this stuff. But so, anyways,
I hate that.
that's kind of.
It should be able to be cool on a balcony.
Answers that's going on for a long time.
Ow.
I mean, at one point,
I have a bruise on my back from my massager. It hurts really bad.
Person in this room. Dowsing rods went whoosh, straight to my buddy Danny. And it was the funniest thing in the entire world. I feel bad because he was bullied by a little ghost boy, but it was the funniest thing in the entire world. So, anyways, when I get home at the end of the weekend, because I get like hyper fixated on stuff when I'm like, I should be paying bills and doing other stuff, I get really hyper fixated, like this story. So I went to Clark County or Washougal, whatever, they're public records basically, to look at the death certificates from 1940
Hey, stop doing that.
through 1949.
I'm gonna go
North
potty.
like that, to see if there were
And then
any
we'll see if there's any
boys
food in
that
the
passed away at the age
fridge.
of 8 in Washougal.
Get
in the 40s.
leftovers.
I'm not even joking. I went
I can't have her fix that
I
yet.
don't know how long it took. It took a long time. I was going through each and every one of them, opening up the PDFs, looking at the page, when did they die, blah, blah, blah. I found one. In that entire decade, there's one.
I guess they could have had her little bathroom
He passed
downstairs.
away from a car crash, or he was hit by a car, I should say, in 1945.
I don't know why she didn't go to the
That's
bathroom
certificate. I'm gonna
first.
flip my screen and show you.
A little
Really
brat.
weird. And one more thing too, I should note, the guy that bought that property, he sold it like a year later. Why would you spend all the money to make this cool dinosaur place and you sell it? Makes no sense. So anyways, good. Flip my screen. Okay, so here's the death certificate. Raymond Keith Martin, born
Okay.
August 26, 1936. He was 8 years, 6 months, and 11 days old when he passed away. Died on March 7th, 1945.
I wish this was the
Fracture,
space
automobile accident, boy on bicycle struck by car.
play
And accident
thing.
on Old Washougal Highway, which I'll show you in one moment. It's no longer called Old Washougal Highway, but this is what it originally was.
Just to like go better with her.
But essentially, this is what it looks like now. But so we were saying up here, this is where the house was, which is somewhere around here. So the accident happened basically down the road from where we were staying on that highway. So it's not like he was on some completely opposite side of the state or the city. This was like very local. So, anyways, real weird, real creepy. I'm liking all these TikToks. All right, bye.
This story is horrible and you're gonna hate it. When I was 3 or 4 years old, I was in a little bed sleeping next to my parents' bed.
I am so fucking tired, I don't know why.
And I woke up in the middle of the night to my mom in her bed, their head in her hands, upset about something and swearing. And as I'm like coming to it, realizing that every time she's swearing, something
Scared
is
that it's irrational.
And as I come to, I realize that the thing that is shushing her is right in front of me.
Okay, it's going away, whatever it is.
And every time she's swearing, it's shushing her. And it's like, this is a medium-sized book. It has
Look how cute they're being.
long hair.
I love how she says this relationship with her mom's
dark
like
skin. It was either like maybe brown or blue.
way too good.
I don't, that part I don't remember, but hair
I've had a
was
relationship with my
really
mom.
kind of wrinkly. Anyway, she walked right by it.
And it was
Swearing
nice.
and cussing, and it was. And I just was like, Mom, and I left. I remember hugging her. And yeah, I tried to ask her several times throughout the years, like, what it was, and she was very devoutly Catholic and didn't want to talk about it. And finally, when I was about 12, she just kind of caved and went, I can't believe you remember that. You were 3 years old. And does she have any answers? No. But does she remember it exactly as I did? Yes.
I want her to make
It was a very
friends.
short encounter. There's not much more to it than that. Thanks for playing. Love your hair. Hope you win. Good luck. Here for you. You got this. You asked for it. Here for you. You got this.
Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable, but it's entirely true. I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay, I have one of these. Actually, I have a few things, but I won't get into it. But the one that's blatant to me, and I was about 15 years old, and I used to stay outside a lot, played a lot of sports with my friends. But I remember at one part of the block, there was this apartment. It had 4 apartments. It was built in a square, 2 on one side, 2 on another side. And I remember because there was an older lady that stayed in the apartment on the right toward the back. And she used to sell snacks and something we call it out here are frozen cups or zips, or depending on where you're from, but it's just like frozen juice. You flip it over. It was a cool treat during the summertime. Anyway, her name was, let's call her Mrs. Green. And she was a very friendly, very sweet lady.
She's doing something.
And one day we stayed out a little bit late playing, I don't know what we were playing.
Knowing school day.
Football, whatever the case may be. We were out late.
Alright.
It was dark. It got really dark. And to get to Mrs. Green
Do
apartment,
your
you had to
homework.
go down an alleyway, maybe about 40 feet.
I don't know
or
why
so,
you have
and there was no lights.
Gardening Volume 1. But
The lights were outside by the doors. We would
go
have to
upstairs
go down
into
and
your room.
ask for whatever it is, and she would sell it to me.
And then
Well, I was going that way, and there was an older gentleman who
start working.
apparently was
Maybe I can
as well.
get
And I remember
her
because he had on a nice
to come
brown
and
fedora hat.
I
He
can't
had on like a blue striped tie.
start working
and a
carefully.
jacket. I believe the jacket was brown. He was very well dressed.
I want you to care about your schoolwork.
Yes, Miss Green was home. I said, I think she is. I'm headed that way. Going to get me something to snack on. I'll tell you your name. He said his name was Ronald. I said, okay, no problem. So I go down the alleyway. I knock on the door. I tell Miss Green what I wanted. She gives it to me. I said, Miss Green, you also have somebody here that said to visit you, ma'am. He said his name is Ronald.
Okay.
And he was standing at the end of the alley, and I can see him when I turned it, he was gone. I said, well, he was right there, but I don't know where he went. He said his name was Ronald. I said, yeah. I said, he came, he asked for you. Yeah,
Can I get you to... Oh, I can. Okay.
he had on, and I could see.
I thought that I could get pens to kind of help, but like,
kind of went pale, and
she
she
just
was
had
like,
this really cute moment with her.
that's what I buried my husband in, and his name was Ronald, but he's been dead for a couple of years now, and I didn't know how to respond to it.
Look at them being
So
cute.
I ran, I said, okay, I ran to the front to see if he was still there. Gone, nothing, nobody, nothing. She just closed the door behind her, and I didn't repeat this to another single soul.
I'm sorry, that sounds completely unbelievable, but it's entirely true. I never tell this story because I forget about it, and it makes me
Look how
sound
cute that
crazy, like
is.
a liar.
That's just... I know it doesn't go with her
I used to live in
space
Savannah. I went to school
room,
in
but...
Georgia. And if you didn't know, that's like the
Where
I
the
think
hell
the
am I
most
gonna put
haunted
it?
city in America.
We're just gonna leave it right there for now.
Find, like, any spiritual
And I'll fix it if I update her room, but...
Like, since moving, I've never had one. So, like, we lived downtown.
God, she goes to
Me
bed
and my
so
roommates
early.
lived
It's only
downtown in
8.
this, like, really old apartment on the 3rd floor. And I'm pretty sure there was like a whole fire in downtown Savannah, and there's like lots of history and like just like, you know, lots of hauntings. So
I say that like I didn't go to bed. 8 p.m. last night.
definitely
So let her pee first.
Like, for almost a year, we
It is
were
important to
volunteers,
pee
right?
when you
Like,
must
high
pee.
heels running down the halls. And we just assumed it was like the girls downstairs, like getting ready to go out and stuff. For like months, we would hear this, and like it was like, you know. Many months later, we came to find out it was like a vacant Airbnb that they were renting out. So like, and it was like an old couple that wouldn't be running around in high heels. So that was weird.
What about
I
you?
never saw lights turn on and off, but like I'd turn off a light and I'd come back
I
to
don't
my
know,
room and
just
that fucking
do
light would be
painting.
on, and I'd be like, I just turned this off. This isn't my scary part. One day I was like sitting in the living room and my roommates weren't home, and we had this like heavy like cast iron candlestick holder, like, and it was like very heavy. In other words, like wind would not just blow it over. It was sitting there in broad daylight, like maybe watching TV, I can't remember, but that shit like flew off the coffee table onto the ground. Like it flew off the coffee table. A cast iron candlestick flew off. The candle shattered, and I like
That
just
creeped
started
me the
sobbing.
fuck
Like
out.
my face was frozen, but my like tears were falling down, and I like
Why is she
texted my
tense?
roommates. And I was
Well,
like, "Are you
I
guys
can't
here?"
have
Like,
you just
um,
flirt with the wife because the wife
that
is
was the
asleep.
scariest fucking thing I've ever seen. Like, you have some encounters, but to see shit like that fly in front of you. That was
This is taking fucking ever.
But yeah, that was my scariest thing, and I've never experienced anything since moving away.
Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable, but it's entirely true.
Anyone that grew up with me or had been in my house, like growing up, could tell you that my house is extremely.
I'll put this a little bit closer to the mic so that
It just was very creepy.
you can hear it better.
Because I was putting away clothes. But stitching this video, there is something that I think about that still gives me the absolute heebie-jeebies. And it's not really something that I talked about with other people, other than like my mom. When I was younger, I think I moved into that house when I was like 7 or 8. And between 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, I
That wasn't nice.
not like an imaginary friend. There was like a real man that I called Mr. Alexander that I talked to all the time. He asked me how school went. Or tell him, you know,
Let her buy a lottery
how
ticket.
practice went.
Why
I
not?
was playing soccer for like Tri Township at that time. I would tell him about my soccer practice. Like, I don't remember a lot of our conversations, but the ones that I do remember.
You can buy a lottery ticket. You know, nobody ever wins that thing.
That they would come and visit me, and I was just very like, well, they would visit
Yeah.
her, but because I was so sensitive to stuff like that, I would see them, talk to them, etc. I don't remember a lot of it. I don't remember discussing it with my sister, my brothers, like none of that. Well, Mr. Alexander went away my whole childhood. Like, I did not, when I like transitioned, I think out of elementary school and like into middle school and stuff. And you can sit here and think I'm crazy. That's fine. Like, I'm okay with that. I didn't see or talk to him, or I didn't even remember him. I did not think about him until I was about 16 or 17. My aunt had come to visit us, and she was gonna stay the night. My aunt is, and anybody that knows her, and just by describing her, you'll know which aunt I'm talking about. The most
Okay.
down-to-earth, humble person.
Do your homework.
Smokes a little weed once in a while. Like, she is definitely definition of the cool aunt. She's just a great human being.
I'm gonna actually put that in your
She's
inventory.
never really been mad at me. I think one time for being mad at me, and this is the other time that I'm about to talk about 6 6:30, 7 o'clock. I have never in my life.
You know what? I
experienced anything
think,
like
those two are still at work.
Like, I'm talking full on, get up, wake up, super upset with me. I'm half awake, and I look up, like, what is going on? She said, I'm very disappointed in you. You know, I'm young, I've been there, done that, but you need to go speak to your mom
Ren.
and apologize and tell her. And I'm like, what are you talking
I'm gonna come down and
She
find
said, why did you
your
think that it was
woman.
okay to have your boyfriend over last night? I said, boyfriend? I said, what? And at this
Pick
point,
that up.
my stepdad was working overnights. My older brother was working overnights.
You do not kick trash can over.
So nobody was home. Like, there was no males home. And she knew that, which I think is why this really set her off. She said, well, there's no way, even if one of them came home, it wasn't them, because this man was very, very tall. And my boyfriend at the time was over 6 foot, and my stepdad and brothers were not. She was like,
Alright, I
well,
was
he
gonna
was
have
like
these
an
two have another baby,
He's tall,
but
and he had the exact same build.
eh,
I'm like, still half asleep, like.
I feel like that's the kind of thing that you talk to your spouse about over like a nice dinner.
I'm like, no, he had a
That bitch didn't clean this up.
This is, I don't know what you're talking about. By this time, we had made it out to like the dining room, and my mom's up now, and she's telling my mom,
Alright,
you know, you need to tell your mom, like, you had a guy.
why don't
last night.
you observe the stat?
Like, I'm getting upset, she's getting more upset. My mom's like, calm down, calm down. She's like,
And it is Wednesday.
I can always look on the school webpage and see like what their schedule's like, but I'm pretty sure I seen it on Facebook that they were going out of town this week. So I'm like, I told you I'm not lying. Like, I told you that. And my aunt was.
I'm so fucking tired right now. I don't even know why.
She had definitely seen a man. Like, she was not lying about that because this is something that really upset me. She proceeds to.
Look at her eating outside like a cute little baby.
Was like, oh,
What is this?
and I'm like, what? Like, what? So you're all like mad at me. You know that.
Ren is the cutest mom ever. Like,
Mr. Alexander. And it was like my stomach dropped.
I absolutely
Every hair
love
on my
Ren.
body went up. I thought I was gonna throw up. I hadn't thought about seeing that in years.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure why all of a sudden it just kind of like popped back in just to check it out. I guess I don't know.
I want to see
But I've never seen my aunt like that. And she.
how much longer until
She described
her
it,
Sally
what
ages up.
happened. So my aunt
It
was
doesn't even show her aging up on here.
And she said this man kind of like walked by, what was it, at the end of the couch near her feet, and kind of like, she's awake, she's seen me, and then just kind of like skedaddled,
Birthdays.
basically, like turned around and like walked out. And
Do I have the aging turned off again?
That it wasn't supposed to be like my boyfriend.
Hold on.
Because it was like, oh no, I got caught.
Game options.
I swear to y'all, I've
Play.
never seen her like that, and I know for a fact
No,
that she's
it's
seen this guy.
on.
I know that. And the
I'm
second
doing
she
normal.
described him, you know, he's tall, he's this, he's that, I was like, okay.
Just because I feel like the lifespan is a little bit.
This is
You know
really
what?
him.
Actually,
And
well,
ever since then, I've just thought about
we'll see.
what
I feel like the long is a little too long.
is he stuck in that home?
Okay, yes, and now Ursula will age up again.
Life really just
Um,
because
whatever day this
I
is.
feel so comfortable talking to this random stranger who probably died 50
Wednesday,
years ago
2 weeks from
and
now.
was still checking up on me at 17.
Okay.
That's something that we do know for sure. We don't have anybody in my family named Alexander. I went through all of Ancestry, everything.
Okay.
This man was not related to me.
So I just have to suffer for 2 more weeks.
That's my
Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable, but it's entirely true.
Okay, I really want these two. I wish that they're like me and my husband. Like, our sleep schedules are opposite of each other, and so it's like we never really get to spend much time together doing like dates and shit.
Upstairs, and they left everything so far, and then they reached
Because when I'm awake,
when my
he's
family
sleeping.
went to the
When
basement,
he's
they saw
awake, I'm
dry
sleeping.
droplets of blood splattered on the floor and on the walls. They found bird feathers, and then they saw a satanic symbol drawn on the wall. Now, the previous owners of this house belonged to a mother and her son, and according to this woman, she most lived upstairs. She let her son live in the basement. She said she kind of just let him do his own thing, left him alone because he was an adult. I am the youngest of 4 children, and my siblings are significantly older than I am. So, naturally, being the only child in the house, the spirits really took
You get,
I was
I
very
may have
young.
heard
These were
something. I'm not sure what.
the house, and I would hear low-pitched growling coming from behind
I have her
closed
clean up the
doors,
house.
closet doors. I
But
just
that wasn't exactly what I was talking about.
walking past the closet door in the basement, and I put my ear to the door to make sure that I was hearing what I thought I was hearing, and I was, and so I ran upstairs. I grabbed
So,
my mom. I was
I don't
like,
know.
"You need to go and open the door because there's something in there."
I feel like I need a little bit of a storyline for the
And
next
there's
2
nothing
weeks.
in there.
Just so that I have something to do while they're
It was no longer
sleeping and
just
she's at
low
school
growling behind
and
closed doors, but it had also become
all that good stuff.
walls, things coming off of the walls. And I remember this one time I was home alone and I was upstairs, and there was just ruckus coming from the basement. It sounded like something was pounding on the wall. It sounded like something had flung off the wall and broke. I believed that someone had broken into my house because that's how bad it was. So I ran over to my neighbor's house. And I
Oh,
was like, "You need to come inside. You
I'm
need
so
to check
tired.
to see if someone broke into my
I don't
house,"
even know
because
why.
if someone
Like,
did,
I
he goes
slept
inside,
good
he
and
goes in the
all that
basement.
shit and just
No one's there.
tired.
And the older I got, the worse it became. So by the age of
Alright,
13,
Ren.
it was no longer just hearing things, but I was also physically seeing figures.
And
When I was 13,
so
the paranormal activity got increasingly bad, and it was
I forgot about
so bad to the point where
this.
it was disrupting my sleep.
I forgot that I had them
Waking up at 3 a.m.
working
on
out
the
and
dot. At
stuff.
first, it was just my TV would be turned on.
Oh, not
or I'd
you.
hear, like, really creepy noises coming from my closet or like a dark
Not
corner.
you. I don't even like you.
But then I
Come
finally saw it.
and sell
The way
this.
that my room was set up was I had a room upstairs,
Prepare
and my room
this.
was at the very
Practice
end
your
of this
punching.
long, narrow hallway. And when I was laying down on my pillow in my bed, and my door was open, I could see directly down the hallway. So when I would be woken up at 3 in the morning, I'd open my eyes and I slept.
Didn't
with my
she
door
have
open
one
because I
more
was so
career?
scared. And when I would look down the hallway,
Where
I
did this hair
saw
go?
a very tall, dark figure. It was all black. Couldn't see its face, but I knew it was a man. I just knew. This figure, every single night, he would be sitting at the end of the hallway, and he would walk slowly down the hallway into my room.
No, I forgot what I was saying because I got distracted by Bella's hair.
My sleep had become so bad, and my mom didn't believe that I was seeing the figures that I was seeing, so she took me to a neurologist. She took me to several sleep studies, several sleep doctors, and of course, they all ran tests on me. The doctors could never come up with anything because my brain activity was normal, so they just conjured it up to me being a child, and it was just my
Of
imagination.
course.
It was all in my head. When I reached high school, most of my
Practice
siblings had
punching
moved
for a
out of
little
the
while.
house, and so I ended up taking my older sister's bedroom that was in the basement, which was very brave of me. But at this point in time is when the paranormal activity,
And turn this down
it gets spicy.
teeny bit.
I would still be woken up at 3, 4 in the morning, but this time with physical pain. I would wake up with bruises on my body. I'd wake up with scratches on my body in threes. And one time it was so bad that I woke up from being choked. I would
Okay.
hear tapping on the walls, banging on the walls. I'd hear
Yeah, I forgot what I was
scratches.
talking about.
Creepy ass growls, noises, and I also would often smell rotten eggs. At this point, I figured that
That's the
whatever
worst part
was
of all of it.
haunting me was still the same.
Smell.
It was upstairs, the man I was talking about.
Ooh! God! Don't claw my feet!
My shit's apparently really fucking up.
Come here!
Very first times I had ever seen her.
Come
I was
here!
with my friends, and
Come
it was
see me!
classic, and she was
you gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious, Ellen. Let's see the mom. Let's see the mom. You smell like a potty. I guess mommy needs to clean the potty, huh? Go away, scammer. Okay. Oh, she's doing it without me telling her to. What a good kid. Okay. I don't want to do the Reaper's... I clicked on the wrong thing. I don't want to do the Reaper's rewards. Leave me alone. It's not just her. Everything disappeared. Hold on a second. There we go. Everything disappeared on Bella. Is that? Oh no. Oh. Okay. I'm pretty sure it was this hair, but I don't quite remember. This one would look really cute on her too. I haven't downloaded very many hairs, so there's not a lot of PC hairs to choose from. Okay. Was it this dress that I had on her? I think it was that one. It might have been this one. We'll go with that one. Okay. And then Cassandra, I'm pretty sure she had a... It looks like the height slider is working, because Cassandra is teeny, like, wow.
When I was in high school, I had to be like 16 or 17. There was this girl.
I can't even...
And
I'm just gonna give her this hair, because I can't see, like, really what I'm doing with her.
every time she saw me in the hallway, she would always embrace me with so much love and authenticity.
There's not just a straight black.
It's so good to see you. Like, how are you? One of Christina's defining physical attributes was that she had really short, brown, curly hair. There was
I have
that I was
upload, or I have downloaded a few shirts. I don't remember which one I had on her, but I like that.
My brother comes in my room, and we're just having casual conversation. And he looks at me and he goes, "There's a girl here." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "There's a girl."
Okay, I really like that one. So
I was like, "Okay, like, what does she look like?"
just make sure.
And he goes,
Yeah, I don't remember what I had on her for party
curly hair,
either.
and just that she knows you from high school. I had literally no idea who he was referencing at the time. And I was like, okay, that's weird. And I was like, what is she doing here? And he goes, she just wanted to come and say hi to you. But she's really
really, really happy. Later that night, when I went to dinner with my friends, we were just having dinner, and my friend, I believe at the time, she got a text message, and she announced to us that Christina was found unalived.
What's that? That's really cute.
We were obviously all mortified, and I just remember sitting there like in shock, and then it clicked in my brain, and I was like, guys, my brother just saw her in my room before I got here. I don't know why she chose to pass through my space in that moment, and what it was for her. I don't know why she
Okay,
was
I'm being a little lazy.
but
That
it
one.
is obviously something that I will never forget.
Okay.
Completely unbelievable, but it's entirely true. I'll go first. Okay, so this one's a little bit wild. It's about my niece, and you know how people always say
We're
that
done.
children can see spirits, whatever.
Unless something happens to my CC again.
When we first started dating, the only child was his older sister's daughter, and we were babysitting her or something, and I remember I was changing her
Whose
diaper,
friend
and
is
she was
Bella?
just staring above me,
Oh.
very, very, very intensely. I think she was about 1.5, maybe almost 2, and she's staring above me over
Yeah,
my
just do
shoulder
something
at the
with
ceiling,
Bella.
really, really, really,
Hang out with your friend for a bit.
not breaking this. And normally she cried whenever you would change her diaper, but no, she was locked into something
It's
above me.
Thursday.
So I was like, what are you looking at? And she just kind of didn't say anything. She just kept staring. And so fixed her diaper. And, she stood up and she's still
I
staring.
just see them do a little flirt
And
with each
then
other.
she kind of does like this and follows with her eyes as this something is moving across the ceiling. And she follows it down the hallway, and she stops at the end of a door frame and stares up at the corner of the ceiling of this door frame. And I was like, baby, what are you looking at? And she says, he wants to play.
She's scared of the thunderstorm.
So I said, who wants to play? And she said, him, he wants to play. I said, no, he doesn't. I said, no, he doesn't. And she was like, come on. And she was
Yes.
doing like this while
You're
looking
gonna need
at
that
her, running towards me.
for your future, so you need to like
I
fitness.
had seen, 2
Okay.
days before this happened too. But she rolled a ball into the kitchen.
She did do her theater extra credit work. They need you to be a good student.
And rolled back to her.
I need to
It
check
wasn't
this
that it
out.
hit, it bounced is what I'm trying to say. It
Okay.
literally stopped in a place where
She's fine unless she actually has romance with somebody. Other than that, that's all you want.
She had also told her mother that there was someone sitting on her tea party. She was very sad. She had bloodshot eyes and black all the way down
Okay.
her face, as if it had been mascara running, as if this woman had been crying. What else? One time we were at and this is my husband's family. Nothing really happened
Okay.
in my family, but
And then after she's done with her extra credit, she'll probably just do it on her own, but she needs to go to bed.
3:33 on the dot, which is already kind of a really scary number. And I woke up.
Did I say she'll do it herself?
And the door, I was using the bathroom, and I had my eyes shut.
Boo, you poo too. That's been you this whole time, sitting in my chat and not saying a word? Were you at least listening to... Oh, I accidentally turned it off. Were you at least listening to the scary stories? No. Oh no, it's not. It hasn't been you. Were you at least listening to my scary stories? Ah, I see. I'm gonna turn that back on so we can listen to it together. I'll put it here.
We are Christian in this household, so this is whenever we I'd stay over at my boyfriend's house, now my husband,
Oh,
and we had
cute.
to stay separate. So he was on the couch, and I saw
Oh, she
a
didn't
person
eat. Oh,
in
she
the
also has to
corner.
take a shower bath.
And I looked, and I didn't know if Aaron was like standing. Why would he be? I don't know, but I was still kind of out of it. I had just woken up from a dead sleep, and this person was
I
just
don't know why
standing
she's
there,
saying she can't
and I
get to
said,
the
"Aaron?"
toilet.
And nothing happened. And then I look at the end of the
But it's fine. She can take a bath in her
this
parents'
person,
house or in
and
her
the end
parents'
of the couch
bathtub.
was Aaron's foot. So I was like,
Oh,
oh. So I said, Ron, because it was near the front door. Maybe someone's on at the front door. No.
that
Ron
hurt.
is Aaron's dad, and he doesn't say anything, and then all of a sudden it just
And Reaper's a butt.
goes away, like it literally melted into the floor. So I started praying and singing a lot of hymnals that I remembered, and I ran into the bedroom that I was staying in, and I closed the door and I prayed myself to sleep because I had no idea what I witnessed.
Reaper's a butt.
Same house, his mom says that the lamp
Oh
will
my
flicker all the
God.
time and she'll tell it to stop and it'll stop. As if people are like trying, oh my gosh, whatever, is trying to like turn it back on and back off. So yeah, that's mine, because that's my ghost story.
So this person is asking people to tell their ghost stories that sound not true at all.
So I thought I would chime in, because so I believe in ghosts. I'm into all that, but there was nothing more terrifying than this experience I had, and my brother also had the same experience.
You know what? I haven't even been controlling ghosts, so she can kiss my butt.
So I'm a year younger, and we used to live in this 2-story house. Some of our other family members lived there. We had older siblings, but they were so much older than us that they were never home. And our mom had gone away for the weekend, so we had an aunt living there and her 2 kids that were teenagers, and they all shared a room. So my room was at the top of the stairs at one end of the hallway, and our mom's room was directly straight across the other end of the hallway. And my mom used to sleep in her room when she wasn't home because he wanted a big bed. And so, me, being the annoying little sister that I am, I used to get so mad because
Hold on,
I was
I'm
like,
gonna go get my
why are you staying up late?
spectacles.
You know, I think it was a Sunday because we had
I
to
shall
Wednesday,
return.
Mom was gone, and so we sleep with the hall light on because we were scared. And I would sleep with my door open, and I remember I went to bed one night and I woke up and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I could see down the hallway that the light was on in our mom's room. And so, like I said, I'm a little sister. I got up to yell at my brother because he was the next day. And I go down the hall, open the door, and my brother's in bed, and he's facing away from me, looking towards the window, sleeping. And there's a woman in bed with him. And I remember she was small, but she was sleeping halfway down the bed, and her feet were sticking out, and they were dirty, and her hair was dark. And I remember thinking, my sister must have dyed her hair because my sister was not a brunette. And I didn't think anything of it. Went to bed, didn't see her face. I wake up the next morning to my brother shaking me and going, why did you leave me in the middle of the night? And I was like, what the fuck do you mean, first of all? And I was like, that wasn't me, that was our sister. And he was like, she's not here. And the thing is, my brother, when he woke up in the middle of the night to this woman sleeping with him, he also never saw her face because she was sleeping away from him. And to this day, I have no idea who it was. It wasn't any of our cousins, it wasn't our sister. And so,
What about your chicken
enjoy that.
mac and cheese?
A story that sounds completely unbelievable, but is entirely true. I'll go first. I went to college in the 40s, and at the time, I had been dating someone who lived kind of outside of Ithaca. And he kind of lived in nowhere. And there were, I would say there were 3 separate times that got me considering whether I actually believe in ghosts or not. The first incident happened, I want to say not too long after we first started dating. And we were driving home one night, and this road, there was not really any turnoffs.
Alright, I have to text Chris really quick and then I will come back.
Straight line through thick of trees, and there was a car that was tailing us, and just a
necessarily so. There's no one else on this road. There's no need to be riding our butt. We kept watching him through our mirrors, and at one point, the lights just disappeared. And we had no idea where to there were no driveways, there were no other roads that connected.
Okay, I'm back.
So that was kind of like the first time that we were just like, it was really weird. We both talked about it the rest of the way home. But ultimately after that, we just so fast forward like a year later, and I'm driving from my school to his house to spend the weekend with him. And I am on that same stretch of road, and I'm driving, and I just turned into his street, and
Meow.
that night, and he was so freaky looking. He was tall.
You have been chattier than normal today. Beautiful. Where'd it go?
And he was really, really skinny. His eyes were
Meow.
sunken. His hair was a mess. He looked dirty. I don't know. And at this point in our
With
relationship,
that,
like, I felt pretty confident that I kind of knew.
I don't care about the Reaper
Pretty
rewards.
much recognized everyone who lived in that area. And this guy definitely did not look like anyone that I had seen before. So as soon as I got to his house, I told him and he told me to stay at the house, and he
Moo?
the guy couldn't find him. There was no sign of him.
Are you enjoying my scary stories?
The rest of the night. The last thing, maybe also like another year later, so this is now like 2 years into our relationship. Also, I'm sorry about the story. I have my Frenchies. So this is about like 2 years into our relationship, if I have the timeline correct. So he lived in a very small house, very old house, so you could hear like everything.
Okay. And then this weekend,
So one afternoon, we were completely alone. So me and his girlfriend were on we were out in
I'm just gonna sell this motherfucker.
porch, and we distinctly heard the sound of heavy boots walking across his front porch. And it was so startling that we both stopped what we were doing and went around front to make sure that no one had showed up, because we didn't hear anyone. Like I said, you could hear everything. There was no car, there was no person, but we were both very freaked. There is no doubt that we heard the sound of boots walking across wood planks. There were probably more things that maybe I don't remember. Maybe they were smaller, less significant. But I definitely, over the years that I was in that house, it made me uneasy. He used to work like night jobs, and I hated being in that house by myself because I was so convinced that
Miko, suck it
whoever
up.
that person was that I saw that one night was gonna just show up, or I don't know, my mind. I have anxieties with my mind.
Where'd she go?
Faces. But yeah.
Tell me a ghost story that sounds
If you have to pee, why are you standing there talking to the dishwasher?
Okay, so I
Use the bathroom.
this video, so this is going to be my as-for ghost story time. So this story takes place in the summertime of like 2008, and at the time I was at my boyfriend's house, and his nephew was, there with us, and he needed to get home. So it was like 1:30, maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. We were driving him home, which he lived far, but he lived off on the reservation, and the road's completely unpaved in that area, and there's no street lights.
Okay.
So it's just complete pitch dark outside. And at the
Alright,
time,
I'm also getting rid of this thing.
he had this very unhappy last
I would put Miko in a room, but
every time we got into the car.
I don't want to have to babysit. Make sure she doesn't die of starvation.
The sound system in his car, so the car is like shaking and rattling going down this side of the road. So in the distance, you can see the single lane bridge that's up ahead, and we're kind of approaching it pretty quickly until
The zoo with
flies
an
across
event.
the road.
Happen no
I
exact
say
scenario.
flies because
it moved so quickly, so fast, that all was like black across the street. And immediately, we turned off the music and just completely silent. So we proceed toward the bridge, and then the smell comes. And if you're familiar with the smell of like decay or like dead animal, that's the exact smell that came through the windows. So we ended up rolling out the windows because the smell is so strong and bad that even after we rolled up the windows, the smell was still there, and it was for a little bit. So we proceed and, you know, get toward the area where his nephew lived. And like I said, there's no street lights or anything, so it's still pitch dark, pitch black. And, you know, there's a few houses sprinkled here and there, a few trailer houses, a couple of hogans, and he lives toward the end of this area, which leads to a dead end. And, you know, nobody had their generators on at this point because it's like 1:30 in the morning, everybody's asleep. So when we get to his house, it's completely black. So he books it the fuck out of the car once we get to his house. And I really don't blame him because if I had that choice, I'd probably do the same thing. So he's out, we see him get into the house, we turn around and head back the same way that we came in. And we get to the point where the bridge was, and, you know, we're crossing the bridge, and right after, I just happened to look outside of the window, and at this point, I'm looking out the window, and I see a pair of
I just gotta get through the rest of Friday night, and then I'm gonna do something on Saturday.
And I say red, I mean red, like...
For story development.
I don't know if they were like actually glowing, but it could have been my imagination that they were glowing, but that's what it seemed like to me. And I was so scared that I just didn't say anything, and I just looked forward and didn't look out the window again. And, you know, we get back to my boyfriend's house, and we don't acknowledge it, we don't really talk about it, and I ended up bringing it up later on, and he just did not want to talk about it. You know, immediately it's like, what I saw, I don't want to talk
You're
about
being
it.
cuter than usual today, Pix.
Like, we don't have to
Yeah,
say
you are.
anything.
You're being cuter than normal.
Because a lot of times it's like, you know, same vein is that where you see something, didn't. If you hear something, no, you didn't. A lot of Native Americans talk about
Okay.
as workers, mainly because
Six who woke up.
you just
Not the person I'm focusing on.
can attract them to you, and especially to someone who's not a Native American.
Okay.
You especially don't speak to them about these type of things because it can really
So, I'm gonna let them get
and
all their
the
breakfast and
situations can bring a lot of bad luck. Like a lot of times,
all that good stuff.
American person does see an as worker.
And then
Eyes, or they look at them in the eyes, making it sick after.
get some
Like
leftovers.
physically sick. So it's not really talked about too often, except like the younger kids, because you know a lot of them either they don't believe it or they just think it's like a joke, but it's not. So we can really discuss it, and I told the story maybe like to a couple of people in my family, but other than that, I really don't talk about them. Mainly because I just don't want to attract anything to me, even though I don't live in New Mexico anymore. Don't live anywhere near it, but you never know what you might attract if you say it out loud. So
Okay, did she finish eating? She did. So, gonna travel. Ren.
Tell me about the weirdest dream you've had that you don't actually think was a dream at all.
Why did she have?
takes place in 2013.
Alright, you go with all your little friends.
I decided to go with our roommate down to the city of Zuni. And the whole
Look at that little girl. She's cute.
is from Zuni, so he's very familiar with it. Went there a lot as a child, you know, specifically for, you know, to visit him with my family and everything. But for this
I believe I put it in Oasis.
time, we were going to visit
visit a statue
Yes.
that's in Zuni, and it's very famous. It's called the Statue. And it's a child statue. It's supposed to be Jesus at the age of 12. Something like this.
Okay.
But it is a child statue, and there's a lot that comes with the statue. The same family has owned this statue from generation to generation. It's very old, and it's mostly in a glass case, but you are allowed to go and see it, and you are allowed to even like touch it and ask for blessings.
What is Ren doing? Oh.
The statue before.
For a second I thought she was just like, oh yeah, I'm out. The Sim God's taking care of the children.
To like touch it or anything.
We're all good.
Stories about it, mainly that people bring offerings to the statue, and a lot of times it's shoes. And people will bring
Okay.
to the statue, and there's piles of them all over the house where this statue is, but all of them are used.
I just wanted her to kind of come and look at stuff
Centered in a new statue. Walks
and just
around
be like,
it,
wow,
bring it
that's
to
so cool. I like this.
completely used.
So we're just gonna, I'm just gonna have her like go around and like,
You know, didn't really think much of it.
we're gonna pretend that she's looking at stuff.
In that vein, I probably shouldn't have gone to request a blessing, being that I was a skeptic at the time. But my husband wanted to go, and Nick was more than willing to take us, so we went. My husband went first. There's a very specific way you're supposed to approach the statue.
And then come
You're supposed to
and
stroke its face,
play Space Explorer.
make a wish, what have you. So when it came to my turn, I did the stroking method that you're supposed to do on the cheek and everything, and
Oh, it's a,
made my wish.
I don't think she can, oh she
Prayer,
can.
whatever you call it.
And then observe the
And I
sky.
didn't think much of it, and the roommate at the time, he knew that I was
Are you broken?
skeptic about it because I heard about it growing up, you know, listen to tales that you were told when you were a child. So I didn't think anything of it, and I really should have. So after our, you know, little outing and everything, we went back
Have
home.
you observed the sky?
Later that night, I went to sleep, and I was woken up in the middle of my sleep.
I really like this build, but like,
My face. And it
I'm a little
wasn't
upset that I
gentle, and it
didn't
was funny to
do
me.
my own
It was terrible.
build.
This child was pinching my face, and it was hard pinches, and scared the ever-living crap out of me. So, goes kind of without saying, I got zero sleep that night. And when I was awake in the morning and everything, you know, my face was a little red, but, you know, usually is in the morning. It's just the way it is. But I was so freaked out, and ended up telling our roommate about what happened, and he laughed at me, of course. He said he knew that you didn't believe in him, and he made you believe. And he was exactly right. So I 150% believe that this wasn't a dream, and I completely believe in the statue now. So this freaky story comes from my roommate who I mentioned in a previous post before. He was 9 years old when this happened, and he was alone with his 11-year-old cousin while his family was out of town. They have spent the whole day messing around, having fun.
That was what I was waiting for. She can stop that now.
And eventually the scraping noise started making its way around and circling at certain parts. And it really freaked them out because they had no idea what it was. Eventually they started hearing.
I tell her to come down here and they all just
He said that there was
decide to leave.
shed near it, no way that they could have gotten off the roof. Just
Like, oh yeah, that loser's joining us now? I don't want to die.
both terrified, being, you know, young kids. So they hid on the recliner that was in their living room and huddled together until they fell asleep eventually. And then they woke up in the morning when sunrise was coming. So
Did-
after they had heard that and they were terrified, they ended up writing something.
Did her friends just leave?
They can see anything that happened. So when they start looking, they notice that there are footprints leading around the trailer. So they start following the footprints,
There's one of them.
Animal prints which lead away from the trailer. Both of them were completely terrified, and they told their family when they got home. And for one reason or another, they were called over trying to investigate. But that's the story time. Okay, so this story time today comes from my husband. He said he was about 5 or 6 years old and was staying with his grandmother in Tanhai for a couple of days. They're from the Philippines.
Oh, is this one of your little
A
friends?
two-story house, and I guess the roof was made from.
Is this someone you know already? No?
And it wasn't
Introduce yourself.
best, but it didn't have any holes or anything like that. It was still.
Do all the friendly stuff. And who's this? Friendly introduction.
At first, he said that they started out like a crawling noise, like an animal on top of the roof, and on his way back into the car, he did a lot of noise. But then eventually,
Did you not friendly introduce yourself?
scraping or dragging, still and the only reason that his grandmother noticed was when the noise changed to something was happening. So she started to close all the windows in the house. She locked the doors and upstairs, and told him to bed and stayed there. So while she's telling him to do this, she notices that there is a
Okay. I think after she's done talking to this kid. Girl, yeah. You just be like, my mom said not to talk to strangers. Don't talk to strangers. Go home. Pervert. Talking to little kids.
She ended up sleeping in bed with him until morning. So that morning she did tell him that this creature that she thought she heard was none other than the Mananao. Sorry. Is a creature from the Philippines who is vampire-like. She has fangs, she has a very tongue, which she uses to take and kill children with. She also has wings, which the flying noise did allude to that. But in folklore and legends, she tends to watch out for children, and when she thinks they're vulnerable or alone, she will swoop down and either take them or just eat them. So
That's
he
creepy.
didn't believe it at the time, but he could still remember the sound of the wings, which makes him believe that it probably was true. But either way, very creepy, and he didn't go back to sleep anymore at his grandmother's again. She said that the hole hadn't been there before he was staying with her. So he had been there a couple of days by then, and she thinks that it had been watching him since he arrived and waiting for the perfect moment to swoop in and take him.
Tell me a ghost story that sounds
That's creepy.
unbelievable, but it's entirely true. I'll go first. When I was
Okay, so this happened in 2009, and I had either just graduated high school or I was about to. And my boyfriend was living with us at the time, and we were in our bedroom, and my mother and her boyfriend at the time would get into very loud, like angry fights. So when that would happen, we would usually leave the house when we would start getting uncomfortable. So this particular night, they were screaming at each other, and we left out the back door. So within our house is set up into the front door. You're in the living room, and there's a hallway that to the left is the bedrooms, and to the right is the bathroom and the kitchen where the back door is. So while they were fighting, we snuck through the hallway and went out the back door. And we were gone for a good 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And when we walked through the door, they were staring at us like eyes wide, and they looked scared and like, what's going on? Like, we had left before and come back, and it was never a big deal. And they asked us, well, how long have you been gone for? We said, I don't know, like 45 minutes, an hour maybe. And they looked at our shoes. So to find out, they said that a few minutes before, about 15 minutes, we had apparently walked through different doors. And in them dirty looks, they were assuming because they were being too loud with their fight. And we looked angry into the hallway, into our bedroom, and slammed the door shut. And still was moving. I was scared. And I remember at the time Butch was scared too, but he decided to open the door. And as soon as he opened the door, it was obvious that the window was wide open, which we never left the window open. And it was really cold. And mind you, like I said, it was around graduation time, so I remember it was really hot outside. And the AC didn't really reach my bedroom, so it was usually a little bit warm. But this night it was ice cold. And I was so freaked out that I didn't want to sleep in that bedroom at night. So we ended up sleeping in the living room. And it still freaks me out to this day because I have other stories. I grew up in New Mexico. There's a lot of, witchcraft stories I have. And basketball campers, things like that. And this was the first time I'd heard about, any type of doppelganger situation. But either way, it's super scary to this day.
For me, a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable, but is entirely true.
I've tried to record this video over like 10 times, and every time my footage keeps deleting, so I'm going to do my best to quickly tell the story. If I don't have a lot of description, sorry. So, the story starts off, I am 12, my brother is 6 years old, and my mom has a very long-time boyfriend that she is head over heels for, wants to move with him. The only problem is that he lives 50 minutes away, which isn't that bad, but at the time, especially having 2 kids, it was a lot. So one day she brings up to me and my brother that she wants to live with him. She wants us to kind of be a blended family. He has kids, yada yada yada. She's like, but
Okay.
to do that, I'm gonna have to move up there for you guys too, and you guys are gonna have to live with your dad's until the end of the summer. And you can come visit me on the weekends, yada yada yada. She didn't want to have like a promise or stay from her home, especially if it didn't work out, because living with somebody, you kind of gotta get to know them. So that's exactly what we did. A month later, they found a house. She moved up there. We moved in with their dads, and we lived with them for a bit. So the first time that she brought us to the house, she toured us around, and I'll save that story for another day. But the main room that I'm going to focus on is the attic. And during our little tour that she did, excited to show us the house and everything, we look at our rooms. My room is right next to the attic. My brother's room is adjacent, like literally can see it from his doorway. She looks at us and goes, "Do not go up here. Do not go up here. Do not open this door. Do not, none of that." So we're like, okay, And we don't really question it because when she tells us not to do something, we just don't do it at the time. So we're up there playing out, checking out the house, having a good time. And the first night we slept downstairs in the living room with them. Second night, I think that they had people over, so obviously adult time. And she put an air mattress in my brother's room and had us go sleep in there. We shared the bed. So we're laying in there. She leaves the hallway light on, the door open, so she can hear us. And
You'll be the cutest kitty in the entire world.
And lay down. I'm facing the wall. My brother is facing the doorway. And I want to say 20 or 30 minutes go by. I have my headphones in, and I get this gut feeling that I need to be present. That there is a need for me to be present. So I take out my headphones and I lay there, and the feeling doesn't go away. So I ended up facing the way my brother was facing, and my brother was very hyperactive, very talky, especially during bedtime. He was not talking, he was not moving, so I assumed he was sleeping. So I faced his back, and I'm staring the whole way. And I remember seeing the attic door slightly open, just so slightly, so slowly, but it opens. And it didn't scare me. I more or less was just like, no way. So I'm sitting there looking at it, and slowly, as it did, just goes back and shuts. So I realistically tried to be like, oh, it's just my mom probably thinks we're sleeping and turned the light off, right? Well, I lay there for another 10, 15 minutes staring at the door, kind of anticipating it opening again. And, sorry to cut the video off. I didn't want the snitch to reset or restart. So, where it left off is, I'm laying there and I'm anticipating the door opening. And, it does. It opens again. And at this point, my eyes have adjusted to dark, you know, whatever. I'm laying there, and the door opens ever so slowly again, a little faster than last time. But it opens, and in the doorway, there is a very tall figure. And enough that, like, it had to bend down to poke its head out. And it did. It poked its head out, and it's looking at me, and I'm looking at it, and we're just looking at each other. And, it gives me goosebumps now. And at that point is when I felt actual fear. Scared. And I go to wake my brother up, and he's saying, and before I can even say his name, he goes, Zoe. I've been awake the whole time. I said, yeah. He goes, do you see it? And I said, yeah. And I said, did you see the door open the first time and the lights go off? And he said, mm-hmm. Whole time we're talking to each other. We're not facing each other. We do not move. We're staring at it. It's staring at us. Like, we not taking our eyes off of it. Okay? So as we're having our little conversation, the door, same pace, slowly shuts. It goes back in. Okay? We're like, my brother finally goes, like, after a minute or so, he's like, I'm scared. I was like, okay. So, I'm not going to risk leaving you up here with whatever that is and going and getting along. So just face me, and hopefully it doesn't happen again. If it does, you won't see it. So, as I'm telling him this, it's like when it was new, what we were talking about, or listening to what we were talking about, and with the quickest velocity, the door swings open, and I mean like swings open, and we're both laying there in utter terror. We're both laying there in utter terror. The thing is standing in the doorway. We can't move. At this point, we are paralyzed. We are freaking out. And the last time, when it swung open, honestly, I'm shocked that it didn't hit another doorway. Sorry, my dog keeps barking, so I have to keep stopping the video. I'm shocked that it didn't hit anything when the way it swung open. And like I said, we're just laying there, paralyzed, cannot move. And I remember it stayed open a little longer. Things still staring at us. We're trying not to look at it. Like, at this point, we're starting to try to move, do what we can to not look at it. And I got the worst stomach pain when it happened. That it, whatever it was not of good nature, was not good at all. And
I gave you the best-selling offer one, didn't I?
Exactly what happened next, but the door slammed shut. And my mom hears it. So she comes running up the steps, getting ready to yell at us. And she goes, who came out here and turned off the hallway light? And which one of you is messing with the door? Mind you, at this point, I'm still trying to process everything. My brother is crying. So we're not answering her. We're just looking at her like, girl. And I said, you didn't turn off the hallway light? She goes, no, there's no light switch at the bottom of the steps. There's no light switch to turn the hallway light off. You have to come out here and turn it off. And then she's still kind of like angrily yelling at us. And I look at it now as like maybe she was scared and didn't know what to say. And that's fine. Whatever. Her boyfriend also came up, and he was not one to really believe in the paranormal, at least from what I know.
and they're both staring at us, mind you, as well. My mom had turned on the hallway light. She's standing by the attic door, staring at us, talking to us. He's standing right next to her, and I don't know if you can just tell because of our faces, but he's looking at us and he was either I don't think it was them. I don't think they did it. And she's like, well, there's no way for the door to have opened, and da-da-da-da. And as she's saying it, the attic door slowly creaks open, and I remember her looking behind her and just stopping and staring for a minute. He's staring, and she just slams that door shut and goes, all right, come downstairs. That is the end of that story. The rest of the time in that house, they did not end up staying together. They ended up getting back together, but they did not live in the house too much longer, maybe like 6 months at most. Nobody used the upstairs. Nobody used the bedrooms. Anytime that all of us kids were there, we would sleep in the room right next to the living room. And every time we came, I swear, in the middle of the night, you would hear the attic door slam. So I don't know what my mom had experienced prior to us coming, or what caused her to tell us to stay away from that, but I truly believe that whatever that was not good. It got the fear it needed from us that night, and I am very glad that honestly she came up after she heard the door slam, because I don't know what would have happened next. We weren't willing to go get her. But yeah, that's my story. Hi. Sorry to get back to you guys so late in the day. I went hiking today, and I honestly was shocked at the overwhelming amount of people that were liking and commenting and sharing and favoriting the video. I did not expect it to go that far. So thank you guys. I love the comments and commenting. I like the back and forth and talking to you guys. I want to address the comment above my head, and the answer simply is yes. There was a bunch of things that were happening around the house before we came. The house was a fixer-upper. It was a really old kind of, I don't want to say Victorian, but old-timey house. It was a historic house, my mom said. And her and her boyfriend fell in love with it. They were going to buy it. There was, like, the first day that she went and toured it, she kind of already knew there was something weird there. I come from a very spiritual family, so I have a lot of stories and a lot of things that have happened. So if you guys do like to hear this, please let me know, and I will keep telling stories. My family is very like
1G?
Okay.
Oh, I'm nervous.
Oh,
Babe.
as a paranormal.
Oh.
I used to talk to them.
Grabo Hina. Grabo Nurgduri. Farb. Delso. Kids. Iba. Brabna. Guili. Bazoo. Inja.
When she went into her
Jovi.
house, she said that
Schwabi from Banaj.
when they went into the attic, there was a rotten smell. And many people that do know what that is, it's not a good thing. If you don't, it usually means that there is something other than a spirit around or near. And she smelled it immediately. Nobody else that was up there touring, her boyfriend or the realtor, smelled it at all. So that was her first kind of instinct. And then one night she was left by herself.
Tranjala Jabin.
And
And Zirpa.
she
Dolomite
heard
Ebo.
a child
Sure.
voice saying hello.
Untale Kanapa. Befete
So she
Palka.
followed it.
Kumiel Busharps Bosham.
It took her to the attic.
Careful.
She said that she got a whip.
Untale Kanapa.
Calgoi.
Child
Dabao Saba.
with
Florib Essenoi.
me.
Brainum Dumbo.
And that's when like, she had
Kenu.
that sudden
Laimana Jasapa.
of a spine tingle. And she said as soon as she hit
Stephanie.
the attic
Boy,
steps,
Arabelle.
she was doing,
Don't.
she smelled that rotten smell again. And
The Cara.
went to her dad's steps, and she told me that during that
Yay, boo!
Oh,
she
Oh, Gariz!
oh,
she
slow.
so she got on the steps and
Boy.
went to grab the railing to go pull herself back up, and when she went to grab it, something placed its hand over her hand and immediately freaked her out. Like, she's telling me that she's getting chills.
They're gonna have another baby.
Chimeraja bean
And
sloppy.
she said that her friend really kicked in
Ah,
to the point that she was like, I gotta go, like, whatever this is, it's gonna kill me. So she went to run, and whatever it was that would have her,
They're young enough.
that she like flung herself back into like the attic, I guess, like the stair area. And she just kind of in her head kept telling herself, like, alright, this is it, this is how they're gonna find me. And whatever it was released, grabbed on her hand, and she immediately shut the door, plugged it, and that is why she did not want us to go to the attic. So when that happened, she knew what it was and was not messing with it like some of you guys already guessed that something had to have happened with the attic. Yeah. There are many more stories that she told me today. I talked to her for 2 hours and we talked about this house literally the whole time. So,
Oh wait.
I mean, if I get the likes and the comments and everything, if you guys wanting to see it and being interested in that, I would love to share it with you. I really would. So, just let me know.
Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true. I'll go first. I have a lot of stories I can tell about this, but I'm going to start with when I was in 7th grade. I stopped being able to sleep in my bedroom because my closet and my bed would constantly make noise in the middle of the night.
I don't know why the baby ended up in Ren's room.
I couldn't sleep with my back to my room. If I woke up with my back to the room, I had to flip around immediately, and eventually got so bad that I couldn't sleep there, so I started sleeping in my sister's room on a futon. This lasted for probably a good couple of months, I want to say, which is kind of embarrassing to say. It's like a 13-year-old, you're sleeping in your little sister's room because you're afraid of your own bedroom. But like I was afraid of my own bedroom. I wouldn't go in there without turning on the lights first. That door always had to be open. If the door was closed, I would literally make my mom or my dad open the door for me. So one night, I'm asleep on the futon in my sister's room, and middle of the night, and I am awoken, and I shoot straight up out of my sleep, and I sit up in a sitting position, and I look above me.
You look like you're higher than hell. Did you break into the catnip?
Appears to be a blonde woman. She was wearing blue jeans and she had a white t-shirt on with like maybe a black jacket or like a dark gray jacket. It kind of looked like she was wearing a denim jacket, as weird as that sounds, but had blonde hair and had a lot of light emanating off of her.
I told you to get the
And
leftovers.
she was in kind of like a Superman pose. You know how when Superman would take off from the ground and he had his one arm out and he's like, whoa, I'm gonna do that. So it was like that pose, but facing the bedroom door. And this is the bedroom door of my sister's bedroom where I've been sleeping. And that opened up to the hallway where there was a night light. So you could see ambient light in the hallway.
Not sure, but I think I have to go to the bathroom.
So I
Well,
noticed
just sit here and listen for a little bit.
I can't see anything past the door. And then as I'm waking up a little bit more, I can see in the doorway there is just kind of like this mass. Didn't look like a person. It just looked like a ball of energy, maybe about 4 feet tall. And it looked like, when you rub your eyes really hard when your eyes are closed and it looks like staticky and kind of negative space in your eyeballs? It looked exactly like that. Anyway, so my brain is making the connection for what I'm seeing floating above me, pointing towards the door. I now realize whatever scary mass thing is in the door. It was dark. I mean, I'm telling you, like, dark. And I started screaming. I didn't know what else to do. I started screaming, and I pulled the blankets up to my face, and I started screaming so loud, go away, go away, go away, go away. Scream so loud, of course. I gotta wake my sister up. I'm in her room. And woke my parents up, whose room was right next to my sister's room. They come in, flip the lights on, everything goes away, obviously. And then I look at the clock, and it's like 4:17 in the morning that all of this happened. And I'm trying to explain to them, and I'm inconsolable. I'm shaking. I'm terrified at what I saw. So I'm screaming. I cannot calm down. My parents are trying to calm me down. And then my dad is like trying to be rational about what I saw. Like it must have been headlights. There's no headlights.
So, actually, something came up. I do need to end the stream for a few minutes, and then I will come back and start it up again. All right, I will see you in a bit.